welcome to the brand new Rolls-Royce Cullinan Series 2. Now you will notice it has had a fairly noticeable facelift on the front end. It has this new light design which runs down the side of the car. It makes the whole car look like it's got bigger shoulders, broader, squarer in some way than the previous generation. This new slightly uptick design here is supposed to mimic the front of a boat cutting through the water and the waves cutting either side of you. I'd imagine a lot of Rolls-Royce owners have boats, so they would recognise that. You will also notice a slightly different front grille. Not dramatically different, but slightly straighter columns here, which are supposed to look like the Pantheon in Rome. The long straight columns there. It's also for the first time in Cullinan illuminated, which will look amazing at night. I'll try and get some footage of that later on. In the back there is plenty of space, as you can imagine. This is a big car, and you also get to enjoy Rolls-Royce's legendary Starlight headlining. This one, for an optional cost of course, even has shooting stars in it, so every now and again you see one and you can make a wish, perhaps, to own one of these cars. You also get an electronic tray table and TV that pop out of the seat in front of you, which you can stream to now from any of your devices, which is actually really useful. And of course, as well as the motorised tray table, there is also motorised doors. Goodbye. Inside, the differences are subtle yet effective. You now get a lot more choice in what I'm going to call leery colours on the interior trim. So this one, as you can see, has quite a bright blue, teal and black theme going on, which actually I quite like a wild interior. And for the first time you can actually spec your Rolls-Royce with cloth seats. I'm not sure how many people are going to do that because of resale value, but perhaps that's a little nod to sustainability in some way. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of a box tick. You get a new digital dash display as well. This is actually very similar to the one found in the Spectre. It's one piece of glass, or maybe it's not one piece, but it feels like one piece of glass that goes from one side of the car to the other. Dials, infotainment and cameras, and then over there a laser cut glass with light behind with pillars, kind of like the grille on the front, which looks really nice, really classy. One way this car definitely differs from the Spectre is that no, they haven't gone electric on this. This still has the great big 6.75 litre V12 engine putting out 563 brake horsepower, so it's no slouch. The interior fit, finish, quality and really craftsmanship of a Rolls-Royce is what really sets it apart from other manufacturers. Nobody gets close to the materials used in this car. Really is very special. The buttons, the switches, the glass, everything feels so good. Real metal everywhere. It's not plastic, horrible, just cheapness. They haven't cheaped out on anything. It's really well done. I'll just have my butler close the door for me. So how does this thing drive? Well, let's buckle up and find out. First of all, pulling out of this parking space, I'm amazed for such a big car how good the turning circle is. It really is pretty good. Makes the car feel a lot smaller than it is. There's something about a Rolls-Royce which does feel really special. Obviously, that's a bit of a silly thing to say. Of course it makes you feel special, but it makes you just want to go everywhere slowly. It makes you feel relaxed. It makes you feel calm. Although you have nearly 600 horsepower at your disposal, you just don't feel like using it. You feel like just cruising around nice and slowly. This is a fairly quick car. 0 to 60 in this takes just about 5 seconds, which for a car of this size, this weight, and this luxury is just crazy fast. But doing a 0 to 60 dash in a car like this just doesn't seem proper. Now, for the first time ever, Rolls-Royce has fitted a 23-inch wheel to this car, and they've had to change the suspension to make it still ride like a Rolls-Royce with that bigger wheel, and I can confirm it does still ride like a Rolls-Royce. It's so wafty, it's so comfortable, it's so quiet. Refinement doesn't even come into it. It's beyond refined. It's just a whole nother level on any other motor car. It really is. Speaking of the suspension, they've actually fitted a system that makes millions of calculations every second based on how hard you're accelerating, how hard you're cornering, but also it takes into account camera, what the car sees through the camera. So it can see now that I'm coming up to speed bumps and adjust the suspension accordingly, which means I barely feel anything at all. It's really clever stuff. Now, this car certainly turns heads, so if you don't like people looking at you whilst you drive along, then this probably isn't the car for you, because it really does turn heads. I like that instead of a rev counter, you get a power reserve. So right now I am driving 23 miles an hour in a residential area, and I have 100% of power in reserve. So I'm not using anything. I'm not using anything at all. If I was to stretch my little toe, it just, the way it picks up, it's brilliant. I mean, what an engine. Really is a masterpiece of an engine. It's just a shame that it's dying out. That engine up front will no longer allowed to be produced in the next 5 to 10 years. Such a shame. So if you already have a Series 1 Rolls-Royce Cullinan, is it worth upgrading to the Series 2? Well, I suppose if you're the sort of person that can afford this sort of car, then you can always afford to have the latest and greatest technology, fashion, anything you want in your life, you can have the latest of it. This is the latest of it, and it is superb. How much better is it than the previous generation? I don't know, because to be honest with you, it's been a long time since I've driven a standard Series 1 Cullinan. I've driven modified ones, and this drives better than those. I've just put that sun visor down and realised it's an inch thick. You know, what a piece of engineering this sun visor is. That's a smooth operation. Even the sound of the indicator, listen. It's unique. It feels like someone tapping a chopstick on a piece of glass. Well, this is a busy road. I'm down a busy road now, and cars parked either side, having to dip in and out of traffic. Oh, E39 5 Series, I like those. Oh, not as much as I like them. TVR Griffith and a CS M4. Wow. What car's that? A Scimitar. Either someone down this road has got great choices of cars, or all of the neighbours do. What a strange little cluster of cars. It's a funny thing, isn't it? You've got this great big engine, and at no point do you feel like breaking the speed limit. At no point do you want to go too fast. You just want to waft. I really think if everyone could drive a Rolls-Royce, there would be no road rage, because you just feel so relaxed. If someone cut me up now, I wouldn't care. I would just think, Get out of my way, poor person. But not get angry about it, because why would you if you have this? Now let's get to the rather large, big black and blue elephant in the room. The price. Well, I'm driving this car in the UK, and the UK house price, the average UK house price is just a shade under £300,000. This car is considerably more than that. With options and the right spec, especially if you go black badge spec, you're knocking on the door of £500,000. Now, the sort of person that buys this car is not living in an average house, so that's a stupid thing to say. What a stupid boy I am. But it does put it into context of how much money this level of luxury costs. Would I buy one if I had the money? Absolutely. This is by far and away the most luxurious big car that you could possibly buy. So if I was incredibly wealthy, had a family, even had a dog that I needed to put in the boot, I would just use this. Why not? There's plenty of space for 5 people. You know, it's a big car, this. You do feel, I mean, I do feel a little bit self-conscious when driving a car like this, of this value, because you just can't help but think that everybody on the road next to you is thinking, what an enormous belter. What a show off. But some people love that. And if that's you, then there's no greater car for it, really. So what do you think of this car? Would you spend this money on it? Would you buy something else like, I don't know, 3 Range Rovers? Or what else would you buy? Realistically, what I would buy is something like a Ferrari 812 GTS. I would then buy a 911, maybe a GTS 911 as well, and then probably a full-size new model Range Rover. I would probably buy those 3 cars, or this. What would you do? Touchscreen is very good, actually. Very responsive. It has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Rolls-Royce Personal Assistant as well. Driving setting, it's really fast. But nothing frustrates me more. As you can imagine, I jump in and out of lots of different cars, and nothing frustrates me more than slow infotainment. My God, it blows my mind. If my phone can be fast and snappy, why can't a car? You know, a car is considerably more expensive. So why don't people make their infotainment quick and responsive? But this is a good system. This would be an incredible car to do a long road trip in. Imagine driving down to Monaco in this. You'd barely notice that you've been on a drive. This chair is genuinely more comfortable than my sofa. It really is. So now time to get some rolling shots and a few bits of B-roll. And all is left for me to say is thank you for watching. There is plenty more videos coming along very soon, so please subscribe and drop us a comment down below. Did you like this car? I'll see you in the next video.